M. Nash, how you feeling today, baby?
Feel great. How you feeling, Pat Bisky?
I'm feeling good, man. Feeling
Talk
good.
Talk to me.
Like that sweater. What that is?
Hey, man, that's that Hugh Pay. If you ain't rocking Hugh Pay, you stupid. You
Go
did.
get that. Click the link in the bio. Go
Nah,
get some of
for
that Hugh Pay. You dig what I'm
real.
saying,
Nah,
man?
for real.
We're feeling good. We're smelling good.
We looking good, looking like money,
We
talking like
taste
money.
good. Hello.
Yeah, you did.
But I want to ask you, man, how important is discipline?
Discipline is very important, especially when you're going in the direction that you're trying to go in life. You need discipline for sure.
Okay. And to follow up with that, 3 things you feel like you need to be successful.
Well, number 1 on that list is God. That's first and foremost.
Absolutely.
Then you need discipline. Then you need a strong woman behind you, because behind every great man is a strong woman.
You do need a strong woman beside you.
Correct.
But they also say that a man's downfall is also a woman.
Right.
Why do you feel that way?
They're choosing the wrong woman. But in some cases, the man tend to get lost in the sauce. Get lost in that sauce, it's over with.
Hey.
Once you get lost in that sauce, you lost in that sauce. But
let's talk to him.
That's when a man loses discipline. You know what I'm saying? A woman is not going to want to see you down unless you did something to her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A hurt woman is a dangerous woman, especially when she be holding you down. She can sacrifice her well-being. She didn't produce, hopefully, children for you.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't gave 9 months of her life, 18 months of her life, whatever the case may be, to deliver those blessings to you. And you do something to her, of course, it's going to cause that downfall in a relationship. That's when a man get lost in the sauce, because he lost discipline in his relationship. He lost discipline on his goals. And that's where shit go down. Yeah,
and I don't think a relationship works without discipline. I think a lot of times we say, a woman is a man's downfall because we're thinking with our second head.
Right.
And
the one between your legs, hello.
The one in between your legs, man. And when you're thinking with that, you put yourself in situations in harm's way, and you shouldn't even been there.
Right.
Especially if you committed to an individual.
Correct.
And it's just like, when we talk about discipline as a man dealing with other women, whether you're in a relationship or not, you got to hold yourself accountable. You got to stand for something. You can't move based on sex. You can't maneuver based on what she can do for you. Right. And a lot of times, we look at women as items and, oh, she'll do whatever I say and this and that. But really, she's controlling you. Right. Mentally and physically. If she don't give you no sex, it's like you can't even function. You can't even think. You already ready to go risk it all for somebody else if you're in a committed relationship. Right. But then on the flip side, if you are single, she controlling you with this sex, and you just do anything for it, like
because you lost in the sauce.
You just move, and
you just lost in the sauce.
That's why a lot of individuals are. It's so easy for a woman to set you up because all you focus on is
you got no
hitting the next baddest chick.
You got no
not even realizing that this a play.
Like you said, everything repeats itself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have the discipline to find you a woman and be committed relationship, then you're gonna keep looking for what you are intrigued by, and that's the next shiny thing. That's the next baddest female. That's the next thick thing. That's the next petite thing. That's the next sexy thing. You just looking and you excited with that head between your legs, not the one that's on your shoulders. And that's how you get in those. That's how you get in those situations. And that's how you continue to repeat that same cycle. After you hit one that you've been wanting to hit, you're going to hit another one, and then another one, and then another one. Then you're gonna look up. You're in the same spot.
It never stops.
It never stops. It never fails. Because you're lacking discipline. You don't know what you're looking for. You don't know what you're searching for. And I feel like that's where shit go down.
Yeah, and a lot of men got to understand that that's a switch you can't just cut off.
No, facts.
A lot of men feel like I can party and I can, slang my Johnson around everywhere. Right. And once I'm getting married, I can settle down. And that's not That's not how it works.
Right.
You're gonna always have that urge, and a woman can help you find discipline, but it doesn't matter who you with. You're gonna be attracted to somebody else.
Right.
You gotta hold yourself accountable to be committed to this individual and stand for something, not even necessarily because of them. You should have a sense of pride of yourself. Like,
Right.
every chick can't hit me.
No.
Because some women look at it like, no, it's like, for real, some women look at it like that. Like, man, you think you the prize, and you think you just conquering her because you're inserting into her. Some women treat men like meat too. And some of y'all, anybody can have y'all. Because y'all lack discipline, and y'all just feel like, no, for real. Because you lack discipline, and you just feel like you're the only person getting something out of this situation. And really, she just slaughtered you and told her homegirls about you.
Not for real.
Now you hitting her line, and she don't want to talk to you no more.
Right.
So it's like, bro, you gotta have some discipline, and that's rule number 1. Discipline.
And I say this: discipline goes in every aspect of your life, not just dealing with females, but it goes into your goals. It goes into your praying. It goes into your eating. It goes into everything from you waking up on time to you going to work, like your job duties. Everything revolves around discipline. And if you lack that, then you lack in substance. And if you lack in substance, then you don't stand for anything. And you will fall for anything if you don't stand for anything.
You don't have nothing at all. And if you can't be disciplined to yourself, if you can't be to work on time, if you can't have your priorities in line, how am I going to be able to be disciplined in a relationship and be committed to you?
Right.
So that's rule number 1.
Right. What mistakes did you make that made you realize you need to apply discipline in that area to develop in that stage?
So with me, I learned from a lot of other individuals' mistakes. I'm the youngest son. I have 2 older brothers. I have 1 younger sister.
Okay.
We all had different routes in life, but we all were given the same resources.
Right.
So with me, discipline came from seeing other people's experiences. I know not to do this. I know not to do that. Now, how I practice those things was, I've always been a stand-up guy and a man of my word. So if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Now, I had trials and tribulations where I had to get better at money management, things like that, at a younger age. You know, you just want to do certain things. And sometimes you can't afford certain things. I know, for example, if you got friends that go out, I don't drink, but you got friends that go out and y'all drinking, y'all club hopping, it costs to get in the clubs, y'all paying for parking, things like that. And then you go back home and you got bills. You lacking discipline. You need to miss that opportunity. Not even opportunity. You need to miss that experience, because that experience will come back. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I pretty much got my discipline from seeing other people's mistakes and knowing that was a route that I didn't want to go through.
Right.
What about you?
I would definitely say I learned a little bit from other people, and I learned a lot by doing it, not having discipline, by being intrigued by every fine female I seen, by being a hoe, by spending every dollar I got. I felt like I had to spend it. I didn't have no money discipline, no financial discipline. I didn't have no lady discipline. Like, I lacked discipline in main areas that I needed it in for so long. And I had to go through that phase in order to understand the importance of it. I went through a phase where I was just talking to every fine female I seen, every fine female that I attracted, that was interested in me. I was interested in them. They had access to me. I did that for so long, and I constantly found myself in the same spot where I started, back to looking for somebody else to talk to, back to looking to find another fine female for me to sleep with. I had to go through those stages in order for me to understand the importance of discipline and being with one woman. So the fact that you was chasing this high, right? You were never satisfied. Never satisfied. It was just like the high feeling that you get. Like, damn, okay, I got it. What's next?
What's next?
Who the next victim?
Okay.
That sound bad. Don't say victim. That sound like some other shit. Like, hold on. Like, who next? Like, what's next for me to see? Like, who I'm gonna talk to next? Like, who draws I'm trying to get into next?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for the next fine female. Like, I was intrigued so long in that stage of my life. I'm just thankful to be out of that stage of my life, but I actually had to go through that stage to understand, like, it needs to be discipline there.
Mm-hmm.
It's more to the soul, it's more to the eye than just looks and prettiness and like sex. It's more to that. I want to see how you think. I want to see how you operate. I want to see what's our capability, our compatibility. I want to see your goals, your vision. It's more to it now because I've grown and I experienced it. But that took discipline. Like when I got money, bro, every little dollar I got, I feel like I had to go spend it on Jordans. I had to spend it on the new flies gear. Like I didn't have no type of financial discipline, but I had to spend that money to learn that I don't need that.
Yeah.
I want that, but I don't need that to survive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that goes back to talk about needs and wants. And once you understand that, you can create your priorities. And once you got your priorities, you can apply that discipline to stay focused and stay on that right track that you're trying to go on. But you have to go through those stages in life for you to understand the importance of something, because you can't truly understand something until you experienced it. I can tell you all day about discipline. I can tell you all day about my life experiences. But if you haven't bumped your head and got that knot, you don't know how to heal from it. You don't know what to do next in order to be successful at that stage. Like you said, you learn from other people. I learn from other people too as well. I'm a great listener. I listen to other people's problems. I listen to other people's scenarios. So when something happens like that in my life, I'm able to use their perspective to navigate the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I might not navigate it the whole way that they did, but I take pieces of what I think is usable to me, and I utilize it for that situation. Sometimes it's good or bad, but I'm still learning and I'm still experiencing. I'm still trying to get that discipline in that area for me to be a better person in the type of situations.
And I want to counter that because I feel like at times in my life personally, I didn't have to bump my head. Certain things I just knew for a fact I wasn't going to do. You know, I come from a family that abused alcohol. I come from individuals in my family that abused drugs, and I saw where it led to, and that was something that I didn't want to do at all, whether it was recreational or just doing when I'm out with my friends. And a lot of people tend to ask me why I don't drink or why I don't smoke. It's because I seen where it go. Now, it doesn't have a negative taste in my mouth like I'm judging individuals that do it.
Right.
But sometimes we have genetics in us and we don't really know how we would react.
Right.
So knowing things like that, I just want to be mindful about certain things that I do. I don't know how I would react when it comes to abusing alcohol.
Right.
I don't know that type of person that I would be. So
Right.
I decided to keep my distance from that. And that was one of the things that I didn't have to bump my head doing.
Right.
Or just going through relationships, cheating.
Right.
I saw it firsthand. I know what it led to. I know how dysfunctional it could make a family.
Right.
I understood how it could, I don't have kids, but I understood how it could affect the family and affect your children seeing that. So
Right.
that was something that I always told myself, like, I would rather walk away than to put my family or put the individual that I love through because of what I seen.
Right. That's real. I'm for real. That's real.
Yo, that's stupid.
That's real. Nah, for real though, like that's real, because I definitely come from a family, not from a family, but I have family members that abuse drugs, alcohol, like, and I went through a phase in my life where I abused drugs. I smoked, I drank. I experienced that at an early age though, middle school. Like I got 9 siblings, but my older siblings had a huge influence on me as far as what they were doing, what I seen. I was intrigued by it. Hey, little bro, come hit this, you know what I'm saying? Come hit this blunt. Come take a sip of this. And like, I got to experience that at a young age. And the people that was around me at that young age as well, I turned them on to smoking and drinking because I thought that shit was cool. So we got to experience that shit in middle school. So when we got to high school, we did it a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? People was like damn, they doing that already. I don't want to hang around them. That's the bad type of shit. But as people got older, they got into it and I got out of it. It's like it transitioned because I experienced it and I realized that's not what I want to do. I don't like the way weed make me smell. I don't like weed on my breath. No, I don't like the way alcohol make me feel. I don't want to walk around drunk and smell like alcohol. I like my presentation to be crisp, cut, and clear. When you see me for who I am in the whole version, not me on a high or me on a drunk. Like, I don't want that to be my appearance. So I realized that early. So when I got out of high school, like really my junior year of high school, I really knew like I was done with that shit. But I'm glad I got to experience that early and I got to go through that phase at an early age that I don't have to do it now. Or no, I'm not intrigued to do it. I don't do it at all now. So I definitely went through that phase of experimenting alcohol and weed for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think we understand the power of influence.
Right.
And it has a negative component and a positive component.
Right.
The influence on wanting to know how things are, that comes from a place of being intrigued by the individuals that you're around.
Right.
Now, for them, not to judge them, but they allow us to do what we want to do.
Right.
But we also have a positive influence that is telling us what not to do and don't follow this route and don't do this because I made this mistake. And I want to know why do we decide to ignore that voice and take our own route and take on the mindset of I need to bump my head. I need to experience this.
It's the experience. It's to say you did something. That's all it is. When you make that decision, it's basically saying, I hear this on the right side of my conscience, but on the left side of my conscience, I'm going to go with my action. I'm going to go with my move. And my move is to do exactly what you telling yourself not to do. You just want to do it because either somebody else is doing it and you want to experience it, or shit, you just curious and you just want to try something out. But either way, you're going to learn a good lesson or a bad lesson. And that's going to alter your life for the better or for the worse.
For the worse. And the beautiful thing about that is that we definitely have the willpower. We just decide to ignore it because we're so infatuated with trying things, even if we know it's bad for us. Like,
we just lack the discipline.
It always come back to discipline.
It always come back to it. That's the centerpiece of it. You're not supposed to do something, why do it? That's discipline. You don't have the discipline to say no and to stand in your no. It all bounces back to the word discipline, the verb, the action, discipline. But in reality, when you talk about influence and being around those who influence you for the good or for the worse, I'm a firm believer of birds of a feather flock together. If you hang around bums, you're going to be a bum. If you hang around successful people, you're going to be successful, because what you see every day in your environment becomes who you are. Because at one point in my life, I was in the trenches. All I seen was the wrong shit. But it wasn't wrong to me. That was a way of life. I seen everybody around me doing it, so that's what you're accustomed to. That's okay. But in a whole nother society, you're not supposed to be doing that type of shit. But then while you're in that society, you don't know you're not supposed to be doing that type of shit, because that's your everyday life. Like, that's what everybody around you is doing. But when you get removed from that area and that environment, and you get into a better environment and you start to see how real things are functioning, how to really be successful, how to really do things the right way, and you choose to do that, you're progressing. That's motion. And that comes from influence, because you're influenced by what you're around and what you see every day.
And we try to downplay influence. We think that we could be this person and be in these environments and still stay the same. And still stay the same, not knowing that is changing you over time. If I'm sitting in a trap, everybody in here making money. I'm in a trap every day. I don't sell nothing though. Eventually, I'm gonna want some money. Eventually, I'm gonna want you to show me how to do that.
Right.
See what I'm saying? And that goes with everything in life. If I'm in a relationship, all my friends don't need to be single. Because when I'm outside, I'm going to start doing single things.
Right. You're going to be easily influenced.
I'm going to be easily influenced. They going, hey, Get a number, bro. It's cool. Be a friend. Like, I don't understand why we don't understand that what you are around influence you.
No, it does.
The number one thing that they always say is that hoes be together.
Fact.
And the one that's in a relationship gets mad when her boyfriend don't want her to hang around them because he know what she doing and he knows that she's gonna get influenced eventually.
Have you been in a relationship?
And when the tables turn.
Have you been in a relationship where your significant other hang around hoes and you warned that person about being around them hoes and you don't want that to keep happening because it make you uncomfortable as a man? And not saying that you don't trust her, but you just know what comes from those type of situations.
Personally, no, because I understand the power of influence and I know that if that's not necessarily that's who you are, but if, for example, when we was in school, same type of individuals hung with each other. So if you hang with these type of individuals, I don't want to indulge in that activity. Like if I got a group of friends that's on that type of lifestyle, I don't need to go hang with them when they go out to the club. Because I know when they go out to the club, they want to get drunk and they want to fight.
Right.
I don't need to go with y'all because I'm not trying to squabble tonight.
Nah, for real.
So I've never had that experience because I was real particular with the individuals that the individual I'm dating is around.
Nah, for real.
What about you?
Nah. Yeah, I have.
You have?
I talk to a lot of women, man. I'm not ashamed, though. I embrace that. I embrace my life lessons and everything I have done.
Okay.
I've talked to a lot of women. Some good for you, some bad for you. But I learned along the way. But I have talked to some pretty young women that hang around thoughts. And majority of the pretty women hang around thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes the pretty woman I was talking to probably was a thought. I just didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get that different version of people when you meet them. You know what I'm saying? So you just never know what a person doing that you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't know. I never dated them, like made them my girlfriend, but during that time, yeah, like, but I'm not judgmental though. So I think that's where the line crosses with me. I don't care about what you did before me. I don't care about like how you take on life because we all young at this point.
You don't care about the current.
Right, I don't care about the current. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about what you did, what you doing now. Like, if I'm not looking to you, I'm not looking at you to make you my wife or my girlfriend. Like, I have no interest to know about what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? You just cute. Like, I'm not talking about right now, but I'm talking about in the past when I was in that stage. Like, my mindset then, not my mindset now, but my mindset then was, I have no intentions of moving further with you.
Further, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So whatever you got going on, who you hanging with, that has nothing to do with me. Like, we gonna do this what? You know what I'm saying? Like, like, you try to get winded down, you try to get popped. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, cause there ain't nothing going on as far as me posing and me making you my wife. Like, but that was a different stage. That was a different time.
But I will say that I'm more acceptive of a woman hanging out with thoughts or with women that's for the street rather than a man that's hanging out with thoughts and maneuvering around, because I feel like women have more discipline. I feel like men like to think with their second head all the time. And if that's what all your friends are on, eventually that's what you're going to be on.
Nah, I disagree. I got some friends that's in a relationship. You in a relationship. You don't do that. You be out with us. You don't be on that type of shit. I'm not saying it because y'all watching this video, but I'm just being honest. Like, you don't be on that type of shit. So, I mean, I can't let you make that statement because it's not true as far as people hanging with people.
But I'm saying from a standpoint of the power of influence, and if you continue to be around that, like,
I just feel
whenever I'm with my single friends that are single, we're not doing single things at that moment. But if every time I was with them, they was doing single things, hollering at chicks and stuff like that, like, eventually I would want a part of that.
Why? You got discipline though.
Yeah, but I have discipline. But I'm saying that person, eventually they're going to slip up. That's like someone continuing to dangle something in your face. Like, although you have discipline, that discipline is going to keep going down.
No.
And eventually you're gonna give in.
No.
Yeah, eventually you're gonna give in.
Cause I've been in relationships where it's the mindset thing. Like, I know in a relationship, if I took the time out to make you my girlfriend and make an investment, my time into you, I don't care what nobody else around me is doing. Like, I've been in plenty of relationships. Well, I've only been in 4 relationships, but during my time in my relationships, all my friends has been single. There's never been a time where I've been in a relationship and all my friends got girlfriends. Like, it's always been a mixture. Some might had a girlfriend and some might be single, but I never been intrigued to go and talk to somebody else, because if I have a girlfriend and I actually made you my girlfriend, I take pride in that. I don't want no female talking about, yeah, her nigga trying to talk to me, or because I feel like that's making my girl look bad.
Yeah.
And I got the self-discipline to know, like, I don't need to be looking at that. Like, I need to be focused on what I got going on at the crib, and I'm out here to have a good time with my boys. Like, I'm doing that. I'm not worried about no females. Like, they don't even exist to me when I'm in a relationship. And that's the mindset I put myself in. Like, it's like a mindset I take myself to keep me in that discipline area. So nothing is dangling in my face if I'm not looking for it. Like, if I'm not intrigued by that, if I'm not even thinking about that, it's non-existent to me. Like, it's just there. They can do what they want to do, but shit, that has nothing to do with me.
Absolutely. But I do also feel like a lot of men and women probably, but we're speaking on the man side. I think a lot of men put themselves in position or in situations where they have to challenge their discipline. And that's just honest.
Right, because nobody's perfect.
Yeah, nobody's perfect. And you know, a guy married told me one day that, you know, you're always gonna see an attractive woman.
Of course, you got eyes. You're supposed to look.
Yeah, but it's the discipline that allows you not to make that move. So the fact that you always will be attracted to someone that's not your woman, I feel like when it comes to certain situations and environments, you shouldn't put which is why a lot of men, they're not going out as much.
Who?
A lot of men.
Shit, I see a lot of men out.
I mean, yeah, they're out, but they, like, for example, a married man, you're not gonna see him at a bar. A disciplined married man, a man that's committed to his wife, you're not gonna really see him in the streets like that with his single homeboys, because he knows what this can lead to.
Of course. I mean, yeah, that boils down to priorities, though. Like, I would hope you're not out and you got a wife and kids at home. Like, oh, you out. Like, you need to be spending time with your family. Like, that's what's important.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying though. I feel like a lot of times people challenge their discipline and kind of put things at risk because you shouldn't have been there anyway.
Right.
And
I see what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? And a lot of us look at it as, you know, their partner wants to control them if they don't want them to go out and things like that, which personally, I've never been in a situation like that. But I just feel like I have my set of friends. She have her set of friends. She can go out. I can go out. But certain places, I'm not going because I know what y'all on. Like, right. you got to know your environments.
Right.
And a lot of times we just move straight on discipline, not understanding that other individuals that was disciplined made mistakes too.
Right.
If I'm around a whole lot of cheating men, I need to stop being around that.
Duh.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's what I mean by that.
No, facts.
And I have a book recommendation for you all. The Power of Discipline by Daniel Walter. How to use self-control and mental toughness to achieve your goals. Now, if you read this title, it's self-explanatory. It teaches you the power of discipline. It also teaches you morning routines, how to fight through tough days, just mental components of life that help you make progress. This is a book I need you all to go check out when you have time. You can order it off Amazon or you can go to your nearest Barnes and Nobles.
Let's touch on the importance of priorities. Let's tap into that. Let's definitely tap into the priorities, because it's getting kind of sad. And I'm not looking down upon people, but it's getting kind of sad at our big age People lacking the importance of priorities, knowing what's important, like to them and to the direction that they're trying to go with their life. Like it's getting kind of sad. Like I'm being honest, it's getting really sad. Like,
I feel like with priorities, what we need to do is take a sheet of paper. No, seriously, we need to go. We need to go back
to that pen and pad.
We need to go back to the pen and pad and the foundation of things. I need you to get a sheet of paper, write down the most important things in your life, the needs. Write that down at the top. Line below that, write down the wants. If that ain't a part of them needs, you do not need to be doing that until those needs
have
been met. Because our generation, bruh, we doing so much without our priorities being intact. I had two friends who didn't come to homecoming because they was working out of state and they had to make a business decision. And they personally hit me up and said, dang, y'all turning up. I'll be there next year though, bro. And what I saw from that was an individual that's prioritizing, an individual that wasn't trying to find some PTO to come out here for a split second when they could have been making some money.
Absolutely.
It's ugly out here.
It's ugly. Like, let's talk about
it is ugly.
Popping these bottles but can't pay your rent. Popping these bottles but can't pay your cell phone bill.
I don't understand how you have. Okay,
let's talk about it.
So I saw an Instagram post. It said, "Girl, take that flight, take that vacation, be outside. You only get one life. Live it." All that showed me was whoever made that, whoever reposted that, whoever was in the comments clapping, "Yes, girl," don't have your priorities intact.
Nah, for
because why are you paying for a ticket? Why are you going on vacation if you're not where you want to be in life? A lot of times our culture, our generation, our race is living off a high and want to do these things at this moment, not understanding that if you stay down for a year, if you don't take a trip for a year, you know how ahead you would be?
You gotta lock in.
But we don't want to lock in because we looking at what the other generation, I mean, not the other generation. We looking at what our peers are doing, what our followers are doing. They turning up. They really having progress. We want to fake like we have emotion.
Yeah.
And we don't want to miss out on the experience and the opportunity.
Yeah.
Not understanding that when you come back home, ain't nobody gonna pay your bills. That experience is a memory. Like those priorities is gonna teach you a lesson. And that little phase, that little high that you want to get, that is temporary. Like that's like sex. Like you ain't got no discipline. You want to go have sex with somebody, you want to risk your whole family, all the emotion, all the good things you got going on for 3 to 4 seconds. And that's exactly what y'all doing. Y'all are risking priorities over 3 to 4 seconds of highness, or a weekend being out of town, or a week of splurging, to be back at square one, not understanding that let me just sit down, man. Let me just peep the situation. Let me really analyze what's going on.
Right. Now I say this, I say a lot of y'all are celebrating failure. Because if you put your priorities on a sheet of paper, like you said, and you write your wants, you write your needs, and your wants don't add up with your needs, but you out celebrating, you out taking trips, you out linking with your friends, you doing everything but focus on your priorities and your goals, you're celebrating failure. And not realizing that if you lock in, and you lock in for that period of time, and you stay down until you come up, your life trajectory and your year trajectory and your goal trajectory will be real motion. It'll be real progress. But a lot of people can't see that, and they lack that vision. So every little moment they get to celebrate and be around, act like they popping it, they're really celebrating failure. They're really unhappy because they taking a social life and trying to mix it
with real life.
Like,
what do, like
and it's not. It don't add up.
What are we doing? Why are we spending hundreds of dollars at the club to show 15 seconds of a highlight reel, knowing we ain't got it, competing with the man over there that's probably popping Kump bottles,
Man.
and you ain't got it. It's okay to not have it. It is okay to wait your turn.
It is okay.
You don't have anything to prove to anybody. Wait your turn. Stay down. Stop doing everything for claps and congrats and oh, you lit. Because being lit also comes with being broke. And if you ain't got it, you will be broke. And the ones that's really having progress, having motion, really out here grinding, y'all don't see that part. Y'all just see them taking these trips. Y'all just see them having fun and doing all these things. So you want to do the same thing, knowing you don't have it like that. Relax.
Chill.
Like, chill. It's not that deep. And we laughing, but it's a serious subject. It lacks discipline. You are easily influenced by the individuals that you're around if they're doing that. And you don't have your priorities.
Because you're not locked in. You don't know what you want to do. I feel like it's a lot of lost souls. I feel like discouragement has creeped into their homes, into their clothes, into their smiles, into their conversation, to where they want to support what the people are doing that's successful. Mm-hmm. They putting all their energy into what people are doing that's successful and not putting it into themselves. They supporting. They everywhere that them people that being successful at, when they having fun, when they doing everything that's what they want to be doing with their real life, they're putting their energy into that time, investing into them when they should be investing it into themselves. I feel like that's a big problem because I see that a lot.
Big disconnection.
Yeah, and that's a big disconnection because the discouragement has crept into their life. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't believe that because they understand that fear cures more dreams than failure.
Yeah, the risk of not doing is that you already lost.
You already lost. And that's the same with discouragement. If you can mentally discourage yourself from doing something, mm-hmm. you killing it before you even start. So you'll rather discourage yourself because it's not happening today or tomorrow on your goals and aspirations. You'll rather keep telling yourself, I'm going to wait on this. I'm going to wait till next year to do this. I'm going to wait to do this 6 months from now. Wait for what? During that time you waiting, you celebrating everybody else's success. Mm-hmm. You watching everybody else be successful because discouragement has crept into your life. And I feel like that's where society is, where some of the peers that's in my society is today. And I feel like they shouldn't let that happen. I feel like it's something that needs to be said. It's something that needs to wake them up.
I feel like with discouragement come procrastination.
Right.
And that's why we're so far behind the ball as a generation, as a race, is because we're so discouraged about how further the other individuals are around us that took care of business. We start to procrastinate what we need to be doing, and we start to celebrate their wins, not understanding that our win could come too if we get some discipline, if we prioritize what we need to do, and if we stop procrastinating. For example, doing real estate right now, taking my classes. When I was getting paid, that came off top. I'm going to go and pay for this class. I don't care if I start weeks later. I'm going to go ahead and pay for this class because this is what I said I wanted to do in 2023. But another individual would take that money for that class, take that money for that course, whatever it is. Instead of investing in themselves, they would go spend that on the weekend when you could have spent it on yourself, something beneficial in the future.
Right.
And our generation is so in tune to everybody else's life that we're working their dreams.
Right.
And we can never become we can never become bosses because we're prioritizing other people's
worker.
dreams.
You're prioritizing the worker mentality.
Yeah, we definitely prioritizing the worker mentality.
Right. So I say this. When I was in my room the other day, I really thought about this. I said, you go through school, you go through elementary, you go through middle school, you go through high school, you get a major in college, all to become an employee. If you put that same amount of time you put into elementary, middle school, high school, and college into becoming a CEO, to study the industry that you want to be in, to be a student of the game, you'll become a CEO. But you put all this time into becoming an employee, to become a worker, to depend on somebody else to pay your bills.
To work somebody else's dream.
To work somebody else's dream. When you was at school thinking about an employee status, salary checks, they was thinking about hiring employees, salary wages, funding, investing.
Yeah.
That's what they were thinking about. So it's different. That's just free game. But another thing we talked about was investing. And a lot of people don't know about self-investing because that's big. It don't take money to invest within you. It takes perseverance. It takes discipline. It takes priority. It takes God. It takes believing. And I say that because when you want to invest in yourself and make yourself a better person, you invest time, knowledge, resources. Those that are around you that's doing something that you want to do, they pouring into you. You become a vessel. You become a seed. You water that seed constantly, day after day. So hopefully that seed sprouts and becomes a tree. But I say this to say this. Invest in yourself. Find out what you want to do. And try to learn everything about that.
Yes. Because there's no excuses, man. Like you said, invest in yourself. It's no excuses if you out here helping everybody else, but can't help yourself.
Right.
That paper, invest that into yourself. Invest that into your business.
Right.
That time, invest that into yourself. Study. Do the things that you need to do instead of complaining and getting discouraged about everybody continue to advance and you just ignoring the fact that they prioritize. A lot of my friends that are further than me, I didn't see some places that I was at.
Right.
Because they didn't have the time to do that.
Right.
They was doing what was necessary.
Right.
A lot of individuals that was in college that had certain certain majors, they wasn't at hump days.
Right.
They had class at 12.
Right.
And one thing that I had to do when I became president at Texas Southern University, I understood the influence that I had. If I got class, I'm leaving hump day. At one point, I stayed and everybody else stayed. But one thing I started to notice was when I started to take school more seriously and hump day was an hour or so, or 2 hours. I think hump day was 2 hours, 12 to 2. When I started leaving at 1, some of my friends started leaving. Some of the people that was in my class started going to my class. Because now they see this individual is prioritizing. This individual don't want to be failing at the end of the semester.
Right.
Like this individual is taking this seriously. So I need to take it seriously.
Right.
So we start walking to class together. But if I was one of those people where I was so intrigued with the influence and the hype and the litness of the university, we all would have been out there catching truancy on the class. And I don't think we really realize our influence as well. We get discouraged so much that we don't even understand that some people that are further than us look up to us.
Right.
And all we need to do is start believing in ourselves the way that they believe in us, and we will be on the same level.
Right.
But we're not doing nothing but getting discouraged, throwing pity parties, starting to procrastinate, and then you just spiral out.
Right.
But we also need individuals to boost us and to help us and to tell us that you need to get on your shit.
Facts. The accountability partner.
Just like when we had a conversation, when we was talking about your clothes, it was like, what's next? Why you ain't dropping nothing? What's next?
Right.
When is the next line?
Right.
Because this is something that I knew that you was passionate about. This is something that I knew that you seen progress and everybody was behind it. So why stop? If you serious about it, like, what's up? And you do that to me all the time.
Right.
Pat, when the next boot camp? What we doing? What we talking about? You got more clients? Like you're putting that battery in my back to really keep me motivated and drive me, rather than every time we talk, it's like, oh, you ain't did nothing? All right, cool. And then start talking about yourself. No. It's more so, Pat, why aren't you doing these things? Like, bro, I thought you said you was gonna do this.
Right.
We talked about this podcast for about 1.5 years. Although we made progress and we launched it when it was time to launch it, we stayed on each other about doing this.
Right.
Because we were serious.
Right. Yeah, facts.
We was prioritizing. Like, we knew this was something that the world needed. We knew we was going to touch millions of people when we started this. Because we giving real life game.
Facts.
And people don't understand that.
They don't. Because
Get your life right. Get your life right. No excuses. Prioritize.
Even though he held that book up, a lot of y'all don't like to read. And that's a problem, because reading is fundamental. You sit on Instagram, read people comments. You sit on Instagram, read all that shit that's Twitter, Facebook, you reading all that shit that's not important. It's irrelevant. Mm-hmm. Pick your book up, dive into it, learn something. Like, I was against reading. I didn't like reading at first. When I was in college, I didn't read my first book until I got to college. My first book reading was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that's when I really realized how important it is to read. Like, I felt like I was Superman after I read that book. Like, I felt like I can just go out and attack my goals and become this financial wizard. Like, I really felt like I had some shit in the vault. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what reading do to you.
Bro, you know what's crazy about influence, bro? I didn't learn how to study or just read a book in college until I seen my girl reading it. She wasn't my girl at the time.
Right.
But she taught me how to study. And then she used to always read. And it started as a way to impress her.
Right.
Because when we talked, now I got another component to talk about.
Right.
Hey, you read this? Like, ooh. So, but then I fell in love with it.
Right.
And it helped me. Power of influence.
Yeah.
It's influenced me to start reading.
That's the right influence.
That's the right influence.
Get influenced by the right people. Be around the right people. Be around the right circles, the right environments, and become the right person. You know what I'm saying? Hello.
Thank y'all for sharing this space with us. This is Conscious Speaking Podcast, where every voice finds its space. I'm your host, Pat B.
M. Nashki.
Till next time.